Hey everyone, welcome to today's live stream. This is your first time here. My name is Israel, and what we basically do here is we give you live streams and different types of Forex education videos that help you one goal, and that is make Forex profits. So if you like what we're talking about in today's video, today's stream at any time, so you hit the thumbs up button, it tells YouTube that it's actually something encourages me to do more of this going forward. So what you should be able to see on the screen is my charts. We're going to break down a couple of different charts in today's live stream. Have any questions, let me know in the chat section. I see them and I'm able to answer them. I'll try and answer them to the best of my abilities. Yeah, let's just jump straight into it. We want to talk about the pound against the dollar. We want to talk about this big news out of the UK today from Boris Johnson, which tried to basically tank the pound against the dollar in one form. We'll talk about that in a moment. We're also going to talk about the euro yen, something we talked about in yesterday's live stream, right? All week much, and analyze the markets. We're going to look at some lower time frames. I've got a lot of questions pretty much yesterday, a handful of questions anyway, about basically the time frames I use to trade. I did a video about this recently on our channel publicly. It's in the description box for you to watch after, to basically showing you what are the best times to trade. We'll get into that as well. All right. So first things first, you should be able to see the pound against the dollar on screen right now. Pound against the dollar, GBPUSD. And this morning, we've got some really interesting news out of the UK, which was probably a bit of a shock for most of us. And by the thumbnail, and again, if you're watching this live, thanks for tuning in as well. Say hi in the comment section. Say hi back to you. If you're watching this on a replay, thanks for watching on the replay. Hopefully, it's value to you as well. All right, so if you're watching with this with me live, like it's gonna be a lot more like it's gonna have much more of an impact. You're gonna realize more so what's going on in real time opposed to watching it at replay, and especially the further removed you are from actually what's actually happened. But you can basically see that in today's trading activity, this is a 15-minute chart, and we start from the 27th, where the 27th starts pretty much around here. Okay, price, as you can see, has been moving up. There was some downwards momentum, but price, for the most part, has overall has been moving up basically. So when you think about it from that perspective, you wouldn't know that in most cases now, unless you're intuitive, unless you've been watching this, what actually happened on the markets. And we can go a bit closer because I want to give you a better view of actually what's actually going on right now. In all honesty, because look at what happened right here. Let's go to a 5-minute chart. Okay, you want to go all the way back to even go lower so you can see this with more context. Okay, so this is the same piece of activity. Obviously, we've just honed in closer, but price, as we just discussed, was just gradually moving up. Okay, then all of a sudden, right bang here, just after 11 a.m. Why did price start doing this out of nowhere? Why did price start doing that? It's what we call fundamental data. Now, there's different fundamental data that hits the market every single day. There's some scheduled. If you follow our live streams from this week and live streams going forward, you'll hear us talk a lot about basically just the fundamentals. You want to check your fundamental data, the scheduled data, forexfactory.com, give them a little bit of publicity. Most different brokers out there will basically have a scheduled calendar for you to basically check the economic data, and you just check it. So it wasn't something scheduled. So it's actually funny because today when I opened up my charts, I was looking at the charts. I came across the pound against the dollar. I was actually just looking at it, and I said to myself, "What is actually going on? Like, what just happened? Like, what's happening right now?" And this is what I'm talking about here. These mainly this one red candle, but these two red candles. I'm saying what's actually happening. What I basically did is I basically now went to Forex Factory again. I was just like, let me check the calendar. I know from yesterday when I checked the calendar for today, there was no scheduled date. I know really important news coming, for one. Secondly, what did I do? I turned on the live news feed. You probably may hear it at different parts during.
Just noting remarks being picked up from the
Surprise,
New York
surprise! He's actually
government.
talking right now.
Schools in the state of New
Funny
York
enough,
are to remain closed for at least another 2 weeks, and this
I'll
will
just
be
wait until
until
he's
the
finished.
15th of April. So again, these are remarks being picked up here from the New York governor.
So as you just heard him, literally, I want to literally turn it on to see what's actually going on. And just for the record, if you want to use the same live feed that I use, then basically it's in the link in the description box. You can get a free trial to listen to it. Basically, what it does is it just literally floods you with the information that is happening in real time. As we get into this information more and more that came out of the UK this morning from Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, you can understand that as this kind of stuff is hitting the market, will be important for you to understand, to know actually, okay, cool, this is what's happening. This is what's actually moving the market. But when you think about it from that perspective, there's a difference between literally hearing it, literally like seconds, imminently as it's actually happening, then and, and between that and literally going to like a website like forexfactory.com or going to a different website, opening up your broker, listening and seeing, okay, Boris Johnson, etc. If you're going to trade in that way, if you want to make potential profits in that way, to basically be hearing the things real time. I'm not like big into news trading, but at the same time, because I don't trade news, for example, per se, I still have to be mindful of the fundamental data that's flooding the market. Look, some of them will have an impact on the market, like you can see here. Okay, so let's unpack it a little bit deeper. If this is making sense, let me know. If you're not understanding what's going on, let me know as well in the comment section. I'll try and talk about this in more detail. But basically, this morning, just after 11 a.m., okay, at 11:12, the news started flooding the market that the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has, let's just call it CV,
And the New York
okay?
governor just stating the coronavirus apex in the city could be around 21 days
Because if
away.
we,
Once again, they could
I
see
don't want to
increase
call
the
it,
need for hospital capacity approximately 20
but we know what is
hours.
that the big thing that's literally people are talking about all day, why we're at home, etc., or why some of us are home, and all those kind of things. And this is what happened subsequently. Now, we've talked about this earlier in the week. I talk about this all the time, generally, when I'm talking about charts. Okay, this isn't coincidence. The people are going to say the fundamentals move the market. Others are going to say the technicals move the market. I believe that they work hand in hand, um, in in multiple different ways. Why do I say that? Because why is it that 11:14, okay, at this particular time, I don't believe it will take a lot to convince me that he just opened up his phone, recorded a video, and said, okay, yeah, I'm going to publish it at 11:14. But is it a coincidence that when he dropped this, and just for those of you for context, look at this. This is from 122.80. Okay, it dropped all the way to 121.80. So this is 100 pips in basically. Let me show you. Well, one 15-minute candle. It was actually quicker than 15 minutes, if memory serves me. But this is 100 pips. 100 pips in less than 15 minutes because of one piece of news that was actually released to the public here. Does this mean that those in private do here? Is that what you think? You think private, people that like his friends, you think like inner people knew at this particular time? I don't think so. You can't convince me of that. It'll take a lot to convince me. But more so to the point, let's do this. Why do I spend time focusing on this stuff? And why do I want you to realize what's actually going on here? Let's go to our time frame, all right? Now notice this. I'll draw the line and go lower. This was here, right? Right here. Look this way. From earlier in the morning. Can you see that? We go closer. Better. Can you see what happened yesterday? Oh, sorry, not yesterday. In the early hours of the morning. So, can you see this? In the same area. Who can see that? Who can see from yesterday? I don't know why I keep saying yesterday. From this morning, okay, price was bouncing off this region. Price had actually dropped. Price now started coming back to this area. And right at this area, right bang at this area, you get a big announcement to the public that the Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, has TV. He's gone into isolation. Right bang in this window. Now it's a bit messy. But notice that right here is the announcement to the public. I want you to understand this. Public. This is when it comes out to the public. And look here. Previously, this is what price was doing. Price had bounced off previously. So is this technical? Because what I've just explained to you is technical, right? In the morning, price was in this region. Price decided to sell off. That's technical. So if we're looking at this, we're saying, look, if price is in this region and price is selling off, we're looking for short positions. We don't understand why we will potentially look at why I was looking for short positions. Go back to our previous live streams from the previous days this week and from last weekend, the longer live stream from last weekend. Look on our channel, just go back to the last 5 or 6 videos, etc. But notice that this is technicals that we've just drawn up. And what did we talk about here? That was the fundamentals. We talked about Boris Johnson, right? About Boris Johnson. So is it the technicals like this? Is it the fundamentals like this, DJ for Boris Johnson? Or can you see how both? This happens over and over again. I say this all the time. This is the key example I talk about a lot. Do this. This is the key example I talk about a lot. This drop here, 2008. This drop here, I always talk about this. Whenever I'm talking about this in a lot of detail, I always talk about this. And against the dollar. From above 2 all the way down to 140s. You go back, look at 1994, 1993, 1992. This is very technical. Very technical. Price dropped in the same region. But if you go back, what was this? What it was in 1994? The BOE collapse. That's fundamental, right? Bank of England collapses. That's fundamental. Why is it that the Bank of England crash and the financial crisis, the start of the decline of the financial crisis in 2008, how come both of those things dropped at the same technical region? But it's just so happened to be fundamental, big fundamental data at both times. Why is it that price dropped and stopped in this particular region? If you go back as well, you can see it in this particular region too. You have to understand and start to realize the nuance. This is why I always talk about just getting your man hours or your woman hours, however you want to ascertain it. After looking at the chart,
It's just in cable as it does continue to
let's
rise. Just keep an eye.
Let's go a bit closer.
123.71.
So we've talked about this area as well, but look what price did after.
Let's get the fib mark at 123.71. It could well prove to be the next resistance.
Price shot down. Okay, immediately, rapidly. Now price started to come back. Price did provide some actual opportunities. Let's do this. I was reminded of some of my early days in trading this morning when I was looking at all of this stuff, because I was thinking to myself, look, this is the drop from Boris. Announces it on Twitter, it floods the market, it goes down. Just so happened yesterday it was in the same, or early in the morning, so the price dropped. And then what do we see next? Okay, price pushes back, comes back. Now look at this. Immediately immediately when you see something like this, if you're going to be trading these lower time frames, this is what I'm teaching you right here, how to trade the lower time frame. So if the market drops down, for example, or if the market shoots up, and you think the market's going to go down, I'm going to show you how to do this safely or more safer. Okay, you can put guaranteed stop losses on if you want, that can potentially help you and stuff like that. Look at this. So you're looking for a sell position. You've seen this huge drop down, and you're saying, okay, cool. There's big information that's hit the market. Where, like, how can I get on? Crazy people, okay, people that are gambling, I'll be honest, and jumping on different places, hoping. You can do that. I've done that in the past. That's very dangerous. I just put it like that. What's a bit smarter is, okay, price is going to retrace. I talked about this so much in yesterday's live stream. The reason I talked about that yesterday so much is because people are taking profits. Okay, people are taking profits. People are taking profits. So the market is never just going to go in one straight direction. I need you to understand that. As the market's moving down, we're saying, okay, cool. Let's wait for some opposing candles. Surprise. 1, 2, 3. And what you should do in that scenario is, if you're trying to jump on with that momentum from this piece of news, okay, this is specifically for trading like news, specifically. Big news has hit the market. You've got there's the immediate reaction. Most people are not going to be able to sell at this particular opportunity. Okay, I want you to understand that. And I don't want you to get caught up in a position where you're basically trying to chase the market, trying to find a sell position as the price goes down. Don't do that. Let the market come back. Then let the market show you price wants to start continuing. Now look, if everything's working out, look, full disclosure, price can just push straight through and it's wrong. That's just the fact of trading. But at the end of the day, this now becomes your area of like where you put your stop loss if you're trading the news, because you're not expecting price to now push back. Why? Because people have taken their profits. That's why the market has sold off, and now the prices continue to drop. Now, if you're taking a trade in this kind of region, let's see if it makes sense. Because ultimately, you're talking about around the 122.40 region with a stop loss just above, okay, right here. So let's take all of this off and let's do this so you can see how this stuff works in real time when you're going to be trading the news. Full disclosure, I'm not big into trading news like this, but I know some of you are, so it's important. I guess I show you some of this stuff. Okay, so we said 122.40 around this particular region. Now notice something already. Let's send it to the back. Now look. We're looking at these oppositions. Look at, do we have? It says, we're talking about 10, 11, 12 pip stop loss. Now, if you are taking this trade, the way I kind of teach you, you always want to have at least 3 to 1 risk to reward. So you need at least 33 pips. Where's 33 pips? 33 pips is right around here. Okay. Now, you need to understand this a little bit. Okay. This is how you can get precision entries. You have to get comfortable doing stuff like this, because trading news is completely different to just trading just normal intraday trading. It's completely different. You need to be more reactionary. Why? Because look at the margins here. Look where price dropped to. The tails are at the bottom here. So if you're talking about a little bit left a little bit less of a stop loss. We're talking about a little bit more of a better entry, stuff like that. That's the difference between a winning trade and a losing trade. But that's one opportunity. Let me move this to the side, because what I just showed you and outlined to you is the more risky opportunity. Now look at this. Look what price did. The price dropped first, came back up, okay, topped out here, dropped the first time, came back again. What did it do? Dropped a second time, came back again. 3 times price was bouncing off this region. And this is all still fundamentally based off this drop here initially. Okay. As price is topping out here, same thing we talked about here, but this is even more stronger because now we've had 3 times the price has tested this. Take a sell position as price is dropping. You could have taken one in here, or you could easily take one in here. Okay, let's do the same thing with obviously a target somewhere lower. Now let's do the same thing and see how it pans out. See if it adds up. Okay, so we want to put our stop loss above. Okay. We want to this, and we want to get at least 3 to 1. Look at 3 to 1, where 3 to 1 is.
Just seeing here, the French Prime Minister has announced a 2-week extension of the lockdown.
This is 3 to 1 right here.
France will be extending the lockdown by 2 weeks until the 15th.
Let's change this a little bit. Do this.
This is as according to French PM Philippe, of course.
Move this down a little bit. Look. Notice where, let's say we move this down. Here's still 3 to 1. Price still moved down just a little bit more. But notice under this, look, notice what's happening, but notice overall, that's how you could potentially take advantage of what Boris Johnson did today. But look what price did. We talked about the tops. Look at the bottom. Price bottomed out both times. The price was ranging. And although we've been looking for sell positions overall a long-term week, throughout the week, we talked about how you can still get those opportunities even if the market's going contrary to what you believe the market's doing. Look, where did the market come from? The market came from down, it's pushing up. And I said this earlier in the week. Whenever the market is in a range, okay, in 2 regions, it normally will break out on the side that it came from. So it came in, will normally continue to go up with the momentum, etc. And this is how this all happened this morning based on Boris Johnson tweet, basically. Price, look what price has been doing since. Now this was happening in real time. Price basically pushed up. If that makes sense, let me know in the chat section that makes sense. Let's look at this. Let's look at the Euro yen. Another prime example. It's still about 4 o'clock now here in the UK, so there's still about 4 or 5 hours left of trading for the week. Still opportunities. As it gets closer to Friday evening, I kind of stay away from trading. Generally a lot of the volatility comes out of the market. The Euro yen, we can see here, there's still volatility, etc. But the reason I bring this up is because we talked about this yesterday. We talked about price, this black line on the top was, let me show you. A 1 hour view. Look at the 4 hour view. Okay. Going back to last week. I can give you a daily view if you want. Well, okay. So price, apart from price, look, the last 2 times, sorry. 1, 2. Would literally categorize this now as a false breakout. For those of you who don't know what a false breakout is, it's basically when price is likely to go one way, but it kind of goes a different way first to kind of throw people off before subsequently doing what it's supposed to do. They've got 1, 2, got 3, categorize these together, or just 4, 5. The last 5 times and the false breakout, price has bounced off this region. Now, last week, full disclosure, I did not expect the market to actually act like this week in regards to the markets. I actually thought it was going to go down quite quickly. It's so interesting though that going by the daily, so far today, price has nearly knocked out all of the gains for the week. But although from the 23rd, which is about here, price has been pushing up, this 1 day's worth of candle has basically vomited all of those gains back. Let me show you the weekly chart, which is basically showing you a week's worth of data, week's worth of trading data. Look at the candle. Look at what the weekly candle looks like. And you see this green candle right here. You can see there's a big tail on the top because price has been gradually moving down, basically wiping out a lot of the week's gains. When you think about it from that perspective, although we talked about, go back and watch our previous live streams during this week, because we talked about the sell opportunities on the euro yen. We talked about a sell opportunity on the euro yen yesterday. I'll talk about that in more detail today again. I'll also give you some more insight. So look at this. Yesterday, based on this back line, we talked about this potential opportunity here to sell.
Something seen as of yet is from this download Fed PCE.
About this region here, where price came into the region, sideways action, and then moved down. We're not taking this opportunity just because of this. We're taking this opportunity potentially because of this. Okay, what price is actually doing, and I guess it's a prime. Anyway, I'll say it after. Plus, this key area that price has been dropping from previously. So although price has been pushing up into this area, we're looking for positions that make sense to continue to sell along with the long-term tide. Okay, and I'll say this now again. I say this every live stream. This is my own personal advice. This is not financial education, financial advice, should I say? I'm not giving you financial advice. Basically, this is at your own risk. You make your own decisions as a grown adult, as one over 18. And if you're under 18, well, technically, legally, you shouldn't be trading anyway. But just bear that in mind. I'm not taking part in your rewards. I won't take part in your losses. Okay, either way. But look what price did. Okay, we talked a lot about this before with the pound against the dollar in regards to Boris Johnson and what price did the previous day on it in the morning. Price moved down. Okay, from 121.20 in this particular region all the way to 119.80. Okay. And then what happened yesterday? I was actually looking at the market as this actually happened yesterday, right here. I saw this drop. I saw price try and top out here. And then later on, I saw price basically try to come back into this region. Now, I didn't take this opportunity, full disclosure. I'll tell you why in a second. 2 reasons. Number one, first reason I wasn't interested in taking this trade was it was just below this region. Okay. Now, this is what you need to understand, and this is a good jumping off point to give you some really solid education here. So look, there's going to be times where you miss trades. Okay, you know what way the market's going, you highlighted areas and you miss it, because this is a difference between like being the person manipulating the market, so to speak, being the person that can control where the market goes, and being the person that's being carried along with the tide. If I'm doing analysis and I think the market's going a certain way, then all I can do is try and take advantage of the opportunity. But the fact of the matter is, we've got smart people out there that know, like, there's people out there like me that are trying to, like, get a seat on the ride, basically. And when you think about it from that perspective, things aren't always going to pan out. Look, it's close, but it's not at the particular area. Some people may have taken this trade and been a bit more aggressive. I'm just like, look, you know what? No. Even if you did take the trade, like I said, this is about 120.90. Stop loss above here is going to be 121.10. Okay, we're only talking about 20 pips. The euro yen gives you more than enough opportunity to make this up. But for me, I was just like, you know what? No, it's night time, late in the evening. I'm about to go to bed, etc. So I decided not to take it. But I say all that to say, let me zoom in. I'll give you a better view of why I didn't take this. Okay. So I'm looking at this. I'm watching price move up into this region, right? Watching it move up. Cautious of the black line where price is, saying, cool, price is going to come up to this particular region up here. Then I'll potentially look for an opportunity. Okay, so just keep that in mind the whole way. So what basically happened is, I basically, like I said, I see price top out here. I see price come back in, and I see this. Excuse me. And I'm like, okay, did I, shouldn't I? Like, you know what? No. For the reason I'd explained, it's not really at the level. Then, see this candle right here. Now, funny enough, like, this is actually the kind of candle you actually want to see. Now I think about it in retrospect. But this is another reason why I most likely shouldn't have taken this, because if I can look at this now and say, you know what, even in my training program, we talk about candles like this, what we call a shooting star candle. We talk about seeing these kind of kind of candles in this kind of area. But bear in mind, if I am not even noticing it in real time, what does that mean? That means that my mind isn't in the right place. I've already alluded to the fact it was late at night. It's in the evening. I've had dinner, all this different kind of stuff. My mind's probably geared towards bed. And if I'm not in a position where I'm even noticing common candles in common places, then it makes sense not to. But there you go. But after this, I said to myself, you know what? I was more focused on SH. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's what I'm referencing as a stop hunt. Okay. People are going to be selling here. Stop loss just above this region, right? Based on everything I've kind of talked about in regards to analyzing the markets so far in today's live stream, in previous live streams, go back and watch them after the stream, it's all the same. You want to put your stop loss at least just above the price action. What did price do here? Price went just above, and anyone that's in these trades most likely would have got taken out. And when I saw this, I said to myself, you know what? Okay, let's be disciplined now. Things do look like they're setting up here, but then at the same time, you just saw someone get stop hunt. Do you really want to take this sell position? Like, let me show you. Do you really want to take this? Do you really want to take this sell position with this area so close? Because if you take a sell position here and then price moves up just after, like you just saw with that stop hunt, and you get stopped out, like, sort of a waste. Be disciplined. You're waiting for a trade this particular region. It just so happened that, and on this particular occasion, it didn't come. Fine. Okay. I missed the trade, so to speak. I'm going to put it like that. But that's the psychology, the bad psychology that a lot of people have. Oh, you missed the trade. No, my trade wasn't from down there. That's what you need to understand. That was never my trade. I may have been looking at it, but my initial plan was to trade from the higher level. And this candle here, although maybe on another day, from the black line, if I saw this, I'd be looking to trade it. But this wasn't the opportunity. And you can't like get guilty and say, oh, you know what, I could have had that profit, all that kind of stuff. No, because trading doesn't work like that. And if you get into that mindset of, oh, look, I would have won this trade or all these different kind of things, you're claiming things that aren't yours. Okay. Scripture, the Bible talks about that as a Christian, what we call covetousness. That's a big no-no. Okay, just for just the record. Okay, so what I'll say next is that's what happened, right? So we didn't take that trade, went to bed. Now let's see, let's zoom out and see what happened next. I want to show you something even more powerful. Let me. Okay, so price went pushed up from this region, right? Here. We just talked about that. I'm waiting for this region here pretty much, so I don't take this trade, I go to bed, etc. Cool. Price drops from pretty much 121.90 right here all the way down as a first move to 118.600, 118.60, right? You can see that. And you see how price dropped. You can just say yes in the chat box. So from 121.90 or 120.90, sorry, to 119.60. It dropped all of this way overnight. So then what happened next is, so we're talking about 120.90 to pretty much 121, 119.60. We're talking about 140, 150 pips. Cool. You missed this trade, so to speak. You didn't get this trade. You go to bed, you wake up. Now this is what you want to see. If you're ever looking for a trade opportunity, right? Whether the market's moving down, in this example, or the market's going up. Especially when the market is moving up or down very quickly, like it is doing here. It's moving 100 pips in a few hours. Cool. This is what you want to see after a big sell-off or a big increase in price. Why you want to see that? If you think you know why, comment, put it in the comment section right now for those of you live. Like, tell me why you think you want to see this after a huge drop in price or a huge increase in price. Let me know what you think, and don't be afraid to be wrong. If you are afraid to be wrong, then it's not a good sign in regards to learning to trade, because you want to be able to make a decision and live with the results. You're going to be able to say, you know what, this is what I think. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. At the same time, it's same with trading. You take a trade, you know what, I think this is what the market's going to do. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. If you take a trade and it's wrong, cool. Like, risk that's in place should protect you from losing. But if you win, think about the reward. So many of us, we focus on the loss, the risk too much. But if you're protecting yourself in regards to risk properly, loss isn't an issue, okay? Because the reward you should get is vital, okay? All right, Drumon 28, bingo. So he says consolidation for continued move down. Exactly. Think about this. If I'm looking for a sell position, we talked about this on the pound against the dollar. I was telling you, look, if you're going to trade news, this is how you do it. I'm not big into trading news, okay? It's extremely volatile. And it's like, I used to do this early in my trading career, but I'd say, you know what, what's the point? There's opportunities like what we're talking about here pretty much every single day if you know what you're doing. But why get caught up in the news? Okay? Much more relaxed, much more easier. Your heart isn't racing, beating 100 beats per second. It's one of the reasons why I don't scalp, because naturally, just my kind of like natural like character doesn't really go with scalping. I'm more relaxed, and I like to make just like not unrushed decisions, basically. So where someone might be trying to sell, somewhere like just chasing it, I don't know where I'm gonna jump in. You have no like rationale, okay? You don't want to do that. You want to say, okay, I want price. What did I say in regards to the pound against the dollar? I said, look, let's see some opposing candles. Okay, these are obviously, these ones right here are too early. You want more movement. It's a quick drop, right? After all of these red candles, what do we start to see? Some green candles. 1, 2, 3, 4. What does price do? Price shows us the top. This is the top. We don't know this, okay? I want you to understand this. In real time, we don't know this is the top. This is why you need to be patient. If the market just continues to tumble quickly, you're not involved. That wasn't your opportunity. You have to understand that. You have to be willing to let an opportunity play out. Okay? So if price is putting in a high here, based on all of this downwards movement, all we do is we just do this. Okay, cool. Let me put a line here, right here. There's been a couple of green candles. Let's see what happens. What does price do? Price decides to drop some more. Okay, doesn't go too far. But we get this huge pocket of price, as I like to call it. Nice amount of sideways activity. Okay. Some people are just going to get caught up with, oh, okay, the market is sideways. Be mindful of what's happened previously. This is all the back of this. Okay. So we're mindful that, okay, this is an opportunity. Why is this happening? Why are we looking for consolidation? But why is the consolidation happening? Through month 28 says consolidation. We're looking for consolidation for a continued move down. We are. But why is this happening? I spoke about this over and over again in yesterday's live stream. I spoke about it when we was talking about the pound against the dollar earlier on today's live stream. Why? People are taking profits. This is why the market does not move in one direction all the time, because people want to actually bank their profits. This is why it's always interesting to me a lot of the time when people don't have take profits set on their trades, because it's like, you do understand that people are taking profits, right? That is the name of the game, to actually bank the profit, not just to leave it in limbo and let it just dissipate. So people are taking profits. But this sideways action provides us with a potential opportunity. Why? Number one, this is the long-term momentum of the market. You know, again, the long-term of the market's been down. Okay. Let me just show you that again, just for references purposes. Let's go to daily view. You can see this for yourself. We talked about this previously. Okay. Market's been down. Go to the weekly view. You can see this better.
Just in the UK's chief medical officer says after experiencing symptoms compatible with coronavirus, is with guidance self-isolating at home for the next 7 days.
2018.
The chief medical officer does come after UK PM Johnson as well as Health Secretary Hancock both tested positive.
So just on the live news feed, I just heard they were basically saying that a high official, not Boris Johnson, has also had symptoms of CV and is now gone into self-isolation. This is what I was talking about earlier on in the live stream about just having that news hit you in real time. Okay, those things are important. At 11 a.m. we saw what it did on the pound against the dollar. Okay, we saw that what it did. It did this here, these two big red candles. So just bear that in mind. This is why it's important. I talked about it as well already. Look at that. This was all based on news that you could hear in real time. I talked about this earlier on. You don't need to spend much more time on that. But again, I mentioned the live news feed that I'm listening to right now. You can get a free trial in the box. Okay, test it out, see if it helps you. All those different kinds. Not like it's not a guarantee to help you make money. It's not a guarantee for anything, just for the record. But there's nothing wrong with taking a free trial. You can test it out and see what it is. But back to this whole Euro yen situation. Let's go back into closer time frames to explain this even more. Okay, so we want this pocket of price because people are taking profits, and if the market's going to continue to go down, this is the best opportunity since this opportunity to get into to the sell. Stop loss above. Okay, target slower, target some point lower. If we're going to be taking a sell position right bang in the middle as prices sideways, moving down, with our take profit either above here or above here. Excuse me. What are we talking about here? We're talking about potentially like 20 pips. Let's look at this. And I'll show you how this all pans out and works together in a second, even in more detail. Look at this. So let's out a potential short position, right? So in this particular region here, you can see, okay,
So far, seeing the latest out of Brazil, Brazilian central bank proposes a constitutional amendment allowing it to buy bonds in time of public calamity or
look at where we are.
Economic rupture. Let's go into a draft document cited by Newswire.
Within the midst of all of this sideways action, What's that doing? That's giving you an opportunity to find a sell position based on all of this. Not by itself. We're not just taking this into consideration by itself. We're taking this into consideration with this downwards momentum, right? Stop loss above. And look, this is 26. Or let me take this one. 26.6, right? What do we need? Where's 3 to 1? 3 to 1's right here. Now, let me show you why I use multiple time frames. Okay. This is just looking at a 15-minute chart based on everything we've done. If I know I'm looking for a sell position, I'm saying, okay, cool. I'm observing this as the potential top, right? I know where my stop loss needs to really go now if this is going to work out, right? From the moment this happens, right here, I don't know that I'm going to be entering a trade because we don't know the future. I'm saying this is potentially a top. If this actually turns out to be the top, then what does that mean? My stop loss is likely going to be there or be around there, right? Does that make sense? So as all this stuff is happening, I'm watching it saying, okay, cool. Is price trying to test that top again or not? While this is all happening, what you can do is, look, the top would be here, right? Look at all of this activity here. Now we're seeing this in more detail about what's actually happening. You're seeing, look, all of this sideways, sideways, sideways. So although we're highlighting up here, what are we seeing in the lower time frame? That price every single time didn't want to break this region. It's not breaking it. So as we're watching all of this stuff, where can we potentially put our stop loss based on the price action? Initially, okay, look, this is the top. Okay, let's see what happens. Now price is moving around, doing whatever it needs to do. Okay, cool. Now I'm starting to notice that price isn't bouncing above this region. Now we can say, okay, cool. We can put a stop loss here if we want, or we can potentially say, okay, cool. Price isn't bouncing above here. Now watch this. Watch what this does. And we did a video about this. It came out on Tuesday, a couple of days ago. Go back on our channel. It's called I Spent All of This Money so you can learn how to trade. Go to our channel. You can watch it after this live stream. This is what I was talking about in real precision in this video. I was basically talking about how, look, let's move that down a little bit based on the price action. Now we can move this up a little bit because of the price action we're actually looking at in regards to the raw time. Let me delete all of this stuff just so you can see this. Look, you're seeing where the top is. Top is here. Now we've gone from 20 pips stop loss. Now we've gone to a 14 pip stop loss. Now we've automatically saved 7 pips worth of risk. Now our risk is smaller. Every time you lower your risk, what does that do to your profit potential? Think about it like this. The risk is here. This goes down, this goes up. This goes up, this goes down. Okay. Anytime you risk more, you potentially you make less. Anytime you risk less, you potentially open up the window to make more because it's talking about the same region of pips, right? Now, just by going down to a lower time frame to look for a better entry, let me know if that makes sense as well, by the way. Look, now all of a sudden, this whole thing that was drawn up for 3 to 1, now look at what it was. The same region is now 5.9 to 1. Just because of what? Because of this. Because of entry. This is why I say focus on your entries. Because if you get your entry right, your risk becomes smaller. Oh, that's terrible. Terrible right in there. This becomes bigger, your reward. This becomes smaller if you practice on this. Okay? Now let's look where 3 to 1 is. 3 to 1 risk to reward. 3 times what you're making opposed to what you're risking. Now it's less work. Now, now it takes less time to get there. Okay, just because you said, okay, I've got my area, which was up here initially. This was the top initially from the 15-minute. Now we go down to a 3-minute time frame, a 2-minute time frame, only for entry. That's it. They're only looking at this for entry purposes because you want to get the best entry possible. The lower time frames you go, based on, listen, notice what I did. I took the information from the higher time frame, the 15-minute. This is where my stop is potentially going to be around here, based on the price action, right? I take that information down to the 2-minute. I don't start saying, okay, cool. Like, now I'm just going to just start taking some reckless trade. No, I'm still looking at the 2-minute with this line, this area in mind. So then as the price is bouncing, I'm realizing, okay, cool. Yes, price is likely not to come back to this region, but even look, price is trying to top out in this particular region here. Now all of this here, now all of this becomes less risk and more profit potential. This whole region, this whole area, okay, just by going down to a lower time frame, and that opens up potential reward. Now look, this is a trade opportunity you can take. So imagine you took the first one we talked about today. Then you take this. Imagine if you miss the first one, you take this. It doesn't matter what's happening next. Price dropped off. Okay, let's take this off. And then price is now coming back. Why does it? This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter what's happening now because this is not your trade. You could have been out of this trade ages ago. We're talking about 100, 200 pip drop. Okay, but why? Let me do this and show you this as well, which is really vital. Let's go back to a 15-minute time frame. Price is now bouncing back into this region. It's not a guarantee of a trade, but I want to be interested. I'll be interested to see what price does if it comes here. Bear in mind, there's only a few hours worth of trading left. Although this happened quite quickly, it could happen before market close. But notice what's happening. People are selling. What's happening right now? Why is the market going back up? Why doesn't the market just go in one direction all the time? People are taking profits.
Do note that the Canadian
What does that
Finance
mean?
Minister Morneau and BOC Governor Poloz are to hold a joint press conference at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's at 5
Those are the people that are selling off
in just over half an hour's time.
down to here.
Canadian Finance Minister and
Why is
BOC
price
Governor
pushing back up to these regions?
joint news conference.
Because all of these people are likely taking their profits now. Price can go back to this region. So the people that sold up here are coming out of the market now. It will come back. Will it potentially drop again? We don't know. But this is the stuff that you do as it's happening, but even before, to prepare yourself. Now we talked about these from a 15-minute perspective, highlighted the higher time frame. I talked about this previously as well before. This all makes sense based on the work we did on the weekend. So I didn't just come to this and say, okay, cool, I'm just looking for a sell position. No, we're looking at it from the weekend and saying, okay, cool, okay, look, the market overall is moving down long term. I want to take a trade in that direction, more likely to pan out. And I highlighted earlier in today's live stream that look, the market was moving up for most of the week on the Euro Yen, but it did provide opportunities to take a sell position. And you'd only be in a position to take those kind of trades if you were prepared, if you'd planned for those things in advance. Now when stuff like this is happening, okay, and prices hitting this region and giving you an opportunity to potentially sell. Price is hitting these regions. Price is consolidating within the huge downwards momentum for you to potentially get on a trade and continue to go down. These are the kind of things. It's literally 24 hours pretty much from yesterday at 6 p.m. Okay. Yesterday, do this. Right here. yesterday at 6 p.m. Most of this sell-off started from 121.20 to 118.80. We're talking about that 200, 240. That's how price moved down. Okay. You think about it from that perspective, those opportunities. So whenever you're looking for a trade, I'll end on this. Whenever you're looking for a trade, don't be afraid of opposing candles. You want to see opposing candles. Because that means, yes, people are taking profits. There's a potentially another opportunity for the market to move down. Again, by the way, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. Okay. Let me know that you like the stuff. You should do more of it, etc. It goes a long way for me personally, and also for you. So that's good materials. Okay. So don't be afraid of opposing candles. Don't be afraid of the market moving in a direction that you don't think is going, because that is actually providing you good opportunity like this, like we just kind of outlined, to get onto a trade with minimal amount of risk possible. You start trying to just jump on the bandwagon. Where does your stop loss have to be? Talking about up here, up here. Look at all of that risk. All of this becomes risk. But if we say no, we're going to wait and see what happens. Yeah, you might miss all of this stuff. Cool. Because that's not your trade. But this happens now as you're taking a sell position in this region. Okay, somewhere here, your stop loss is going just above. Look at this. Look at this distance compared to all of this distance as potential risk. And once you do all of that, now all of the rest becomes profit. All of this stuff after the fact, even up until the point of you hitting the buy button, hitting the sell button, is potential. I want you to understand that. Okay, I'm not one of those people that's gonna like try and sell you all of this stuff working based on previous information. This is why I like to talk about the charts and then see what happens, because I don't mind giving analysis, giving you my personal opinion, like I said earlier in the stream, and basically seeing what happens. Because sometimes you're going to be right, sometimes you're going to be wrong. This is why risk to reward is vital. Because if you get trades wrong, you can lose. You'll lose money. But you want to make sure that the money you're risking is a small amount of money. It's not a large amount of money. But you also want to make sure when your reward on those trades is actually a lot more than your risk, etc. So when you're right, you don't have to be right too often. Some of these kind of trades, what have we been talking about? We've been talking about 3 to 1, okay, or 1 to 3, however you reference this, risk to reward. So if this kind of setup, you only need to be right 30% of the time to make money.
Do be aware on some
Opposed to
WHO's Tedros getting some
if you're out here going for
he just does say a vaccine is
10
at
pips,
least 12 to 18 months away.
and
isn't too surprising given
your risk is
officials have said a vaccine would at least be a year.
10 pips.
It does seem to be given a slightly longer time.
What does that mean?
Up to 18 months now.
50%.
For a coronavirus vaccine.
You're not profitable. You're not making money. If you risk 10 pips, on 5 trades and win, and you risk 10 trades with 10 pips and lose, you're break even. You're equal. Like, that means you have to be right 6 times out of 10, 60%. It's not impossible. But you know what that is? That's hard. That's a harder. Let me know this in the comment section. What's harder? 50% or 33%? If you could do this instead of this, what would you rather? Be right 33% of the time and make money, or 50% of the time and break even? Okay. Or BE, break even. Which would you prefer? These are the kind of number games that you have to do in your mind and you have to think about in order to see like how you can actually be successful at Forex. Market's moving down, the market's coming to a close in a couple of hours. But it's important you understand that this stuff. If you've done your analysis on a higher time frame, there's no harm in going down to a lower time frame just to see what price is doing. You can see now this is a 5-minute chart. Okay.
And seen Italy cases, death toll rises by 919 to 9134, which would be the highest daily increase in deaths out of Italy, with the total cases now rising to
We draw this line on here.
from 80,000.
This was the bottom from the initial move.
In cases and death count from Italy.
Okay. Price is now above this area again. It's now breaking into what was the earlier bottom of the initial move. Price literally bounced back, and this is the area we've highlighted a lot in today's stream about potential area for you to potentially jump onto on the bandwagon of a sell position. Let's watch what's price doing right now. This is a 5-minute view. You can see, look, green, green, green. You get a couple red candles. Look, green, green, green. You get a couple red candles. Price is just testing it. Are we going to continue to drop? Is it ready? Are we going to continue to take more profit? But just notice that in order to take a trade, sell in his position, you need these green candles up. And as they continue to push up, then you just watch. Okay, I need you to understand this. Watch, use your eyes, watch, and be patient. Look at all of this activity here. Is that 2 minutes worth of activity? No. We're talking about an hour, 2 hours plus. You don't have to be watching it like religiously all day. I would advise you don't do that, in fact. Just see what it's doing. Go about your day. Look at this. This is why you can do this comfortably. Look, you see this? You can add an alert. You can say to in your brokerage, look, send me an email, send me a text. Start ringing on my computer screen that look, price is at this particular region. So you can go and do what other stuff you're doing. If you're at work, for example, you get a message, oh, okay, look, the price is at that region. You just go and take a toilet break, for example. In a scenario like now, like everyone's pretty much at home, you could do this theoretically. You've got the time to watch it, but you don't necessarily have to do that. I'll just bear that in mind. Okay. So if there's no questions, this is a good place to literally segue the end of the live stream. Probably going to be doing a live stream tomorrow, God willing. Talk about just the trading week as a whole, what went right, what went wrong, what I could have changed, what I'll look to do going forward in the week, etc. Stuff like that. Hopefully this has been beneficial to you. If you've actually liked today's live stream, the things we've kind of talked about, hit the thumbs up button. Obviously it's free first and foremost, but it goes a long way. It doesn't cost you anything to do that, but it also tells me that this is actually good stuff. We should actually do more of it. A couple of things you can do. There's a free toolkit you can get in the description box as well. Help you if you're new to Forex trading. And on that note, I'll see you tomorrow's live stream, God willing, or on the next video we publish on the channel. Could be. Take care.